Great morning to all of you that are out there. It is Wednesday morning, and this is your Wednesday edition of Morning Manna with Pastor K. Let's get in here. Sorry, I'm coming a little bit later than normal, but I've been trying to get connected to you guys. But we're going to have a great time today. So get in here. We're going to talk about check your surroundings, aka check your friends. Come on in here. You guys are coming in. Great morning to those of you who are coming in here. Good morning, Carla Mathis. So glad to have you this morning. It's going to be a brighter day, brighter day. Fantastic morning to you as well, Patricia Abilene Gaines. Hey Kay, how you doing? So great to see you as well this morning. I'm rocking out to Brighter Day by Kirk Franklin. That's my jam, y'all. It's gonna be a brighter day. Great morning, Ruth Rushlow Fells. What's up, family? Sarah Nickelberry. Thought you put me down. Great having you on this morning. Jeffrey Bulls, my brother. What's going on? Independent Jeff. Check out that podcast. Good morning. I'm assuming that's my wonderful grandmother. Only one person calls me grandson. Love you, mother. God bless you. You got the lights low for Jesus. I think what it is that the sun is so bright. That's why I decided to listen to Brighter Day this morning, that it is overpowering these natural lights in here. Y'all need to realize that the sun's light is so much brighter than the light of the world. Great morning to you, my sister Carol, Ophelia, Denise, McFarland, Clyde. Good morning to you as well. Checking my friends for show. It's that time. So let's get into today's conversation. Great morning to you, Althea Duchess. If you could do me a favor, Althea Duchess, and you inbox me that address one more time, and I'll get to what you requested. I couldn't find that address. But I want to just talk to those of you who are coming in this morning. I said, check your surroundings. And what I'm talking about this morning, I'm just make sure that I don't disappear into the darkness. And what I'm talking about this morning is check your friends. And you know, it's interesting. Over the past few days, I've been having a number of conversations with people and friends that I do things with, and it's very important. One thing that I find extremely true, Ecclesiastes 4:10 tells us, it says this, it says, "For if they fall," that means if an individual fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe unto him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath no one, not another, to help him up. And so basically what that scripture is telling us is that you can't do or be great by yourself. It is a requirement. It is necessary. God doesn't give all man one greatness to be great in and of himself, but he attaches that greatness to other people so that we don't get the big head. So what he does is he allows us to have partnerships and relationships and friendships that become integral to our success and to the benefit of our extreme build out as individuals. And so it tells us in Ecclesiastes 4:10 that, you know, hey, if you fall, then the other person, your friend, is going to pick you up. But if you don't have another person there and you are a lone wolf and you're doing it by yourself, then woe unto you, because there'll be nobody to pick you up. So the first thing I want you to understand before we get into this conversation is that I am an endorser of the correct friendships. Friendships are very important and they are necessary. And the Bible tells us that. All right, now, teamwork makes the dream work. That's right, Carla. Teamwork makes the dream work. Now, one of the things that I also want to begin to say is because we know that in 1 Corinthians 15 and 33, we get this amazing scripture that I find I continually am finding myself coming back to. 1 Corinthians 15 and 33, it says, "Be not deceived, that bad company or evil communication corrupt good manners." Bad company corrupts good manners. What does that mean? That means that whoever you surround yourself with, they have the ability to either break you or make you. And if the company is bad, then it will cause you to be bad. One thing that I've always learned in life, and I've seen this happen a million times, and I've been there a million times. Someone attaches themselves to us, or we get connected with individuals. And people say, "Well, why are you hanging with them, or why are they around you?" And you think to yourself, "Oh, it's good. I'm helping them. I'm encouraging them to." Good never overpowers the negative. It's always the negative influence that begins to deteriorate the good. And I need you to understand that, because anything that we do, and this is why that has occurs. Praise the Lord. God bless you, Brother Arvell, that's out there all the way in Texas. And this is why this is so true. This is why this is true. The reason it's true is because man's nature is sinful. And so when we find ourselves doing things that are consistent, or doing things that are good, or doing things that are beneficial, we're not doing so in and of our own strength, but we are doing so through the Spirit of Christ, which causes the best part of us to arise. And so it's important for us to realize that when we connect with individuals who are not of like mind, even work habits, you have good work habits and someone has bad work habits. Our natural desire is to lay back and veg and let the world happen. God, you do it. But when we connect ourselves with individuals who are not like minded, we find ourselves taking breaks. We find ourselves being relaxed. We find ourselves being a little later. Why? Because it ministers to the natural man on the inside. And so there's a two against one scenario. Your natural man, their natural characteristics, now fighting against your spiritual man. But this is what's so important. On yesterday evening, I had this amazing thing happen to me. I'm often told by a lot of people, Pastor, you do so much. Like, you need to slow down, you need to stop, you need to stop, you need to and I look at that, and I'm looking at the people that are around me when I'm hearing that. And it's crazy. On yesterday, I began to have some conversations with friends that we get together on project basis. And as I was sitting there and I was listening to what my friends were saying and the things that they were lining up, I was sitting there like, oh my goodness, I need to do more. I need to get involved. God, I need to be more impactful. I need to do more. And I began to realize something, that you become what your friends are. You become, there's something called the law of relationships and the law of averages. And basically, what that means is this, that you are the sum of the five individuals that you spend the most amount of your time around. So when you begin to check your surroundings, I want you to ask yourself, who am I spending time around? And I will begin to guarantee you, if you're spending time with people who are doing things and they're progressive and they're making great things happen and they're thinking about how they're going to do this next great thing and how they're going to empower and how they're going to, just maximize their potential, then your tendencies and how you act and how you think, as a man thinketh, so is he. Those you spend, the five individuals that you spend the greatest amount of time based upon the law of averages around, will be the individuals that will impact you the most. Think about this. You need to write a list. Who do I spend the most of my time with? And you'll begin to see, if you're spending your time with people who say, "Ooh, I'm tired. I don't need to do nothing else. I need to slow down. I need to sit down." And you see nothing being produced in their life. You don't see anything new happening. They murmur and complain about their situation, but they do nothing to make their situation happen. When you find yourself being around those individuals, you become a murmuring and complaining. Understand this. When Israel was coming out of Egypt, now they had already been in bondage for 400 years, okay? In bondage for 400 years. And I'm trying to beat this on. Hold on one second. They had been in bondage for 400 years, right? 400 years. You would think that if anyone had been in bondage for 400 years, that the thing that they would want more than anything else is freedom. They would want freedom so bad that there would be nothing that could keep them away from their freedom. But I need you to understand something. They were in bondage for 400 years. So that means that everybody that came out of Israel had a slave mentality. They were used to someone else doing all of the work. They were used to being compelled to do things. They were used to, on my day off, I'm taking a break because master is so hard. So coming out of that place, crossing the Red Sea into a land of promise, even with the hope and the promise of something greater, when you are a slave in your mind, you will hold on to what is comfortable for you instead of going forth and taking the risk of what may be a great bountiful blessing. And when we begin to see this, we see that those individuals that came out of Egypt, they could not understand the importance of having their own land. They couldn't understand the importance of having a land flowing with milk and honey. They couldn't understand about working the land and tilling the soil and reaping the benefits of their own labor. Why? Because they were slaves and they had a mentality of slaves. Why? Because they were surrounded by people who had only known bondage. So, who comes into the land of promise? The individual that goes or comes into the land of promise is the one that had never been a slave. It's the one that was born in a dry season, but understood that a promise of hope is greater than my current situation. It was the individual who was motivated by people who are around him saying, we were born in a place of dryness, and there is a place that is flowing with milk, and let us go and get what is belongs to us. And so when you begin to surround yourself around individuals who have great faith, I see that. Good morning. All love men with low faith. Absolutely. When you surround yourself with individuals with great faith, you begin to operate and to move, and your faith is extended. It is stretched. When you operate around individuals who have limited and there's a glass ceiling above them, you'll continually live your life thinking that there's a ceiling that we have to continually contend with. But when your mind is challenged to believe that there is nothing impossible to them who believe, you begin to walk on water. You begin to see the blinded eyes open. You begin to do the impossible. Why? Because you become what you surround yourself around. The five most influential people in your life, the people that you spend the five great, not the people that you say are most influential. Because see, we'll read a book and say that person is so influential, they're my mentor, they're this. But who are the five individuals that you spend the greatest amount of your time around? I guarantee you, your language is the first thing that will change. Are you hearing what I'm saying? The people, whoever you spend the greatest amount of your time, the first thing that is going to change is your language, what comes out of your mouth. And you'll begin to understand that when you are around people who speak faith, who speak purpose, who speak destiny, who speak ability to do above and beyond, who speak opportunity, who speak about building up, who speak about transforming, people who speak about doing great things and empowerment. When you spend your time around there, your language is going to change. Your I can't comes to let's when can we do it? Or your I can't becomes your I cans. When you begin, I'm going to tell you, when you get around people who swear, you may have never been a cursor, a swearer thing. I don't swear, I don't talk like that. Spend more time around somebody who cuss like a sailor. I guarantee you, your language is going to change. Spend your time around someone who, every conversation, there are men that connect and they come around, and every conversation is some slick conversation about, their relationship to a woman, or, oh, did you see how she was? All they women, they are so immature in their mind that they think that the life and the world comes around to what woman they can get or what woman is looking. And if you spend your time with that individual, your focus and your conversation will be exactly the same way. So why not give ourselves the greatest opportunity to be great? Begin to spend time around people who think, you know what? There was something that came on the radio. I want to say this. I want you to begin to spend time with people who are talking about being great. When I was a kid, there was something that came on the radio, and I think it may have been Dante Tucson that said this, or Petey Green or somebody like that. But they said, um, small minds think about people or talk about people. Medium minds think about things, but great minds think about ideas. And I remember hearing that over and over and over again as a kid. And I always wanted to be a great mind. I wanted to be someone who was inspiring people to do great things. I wanted to be something that caused great change in the lives of the people who are around me. And as I focused to be that kind of person, I found myself surrounded by a group of friends, and I call my friends the super friends. There's a league of justice, and my friends are the super friends. And the reason I say this is because every single time I get a phone call from this group of friends, my real core group of friends, who are establishing policies, they're attorneys, they're corporate leaders, they're CEOs, they're directors. They're always talking about what is on the horizon. They're talking about what they're getting ready to do next. They're talking about what they're getting ready to implement. And on yesterday, I was like, man, I got off the phone and I was like, I need to do more for my friends are changing the world. And it's funny because I have so many people tell me, you're doing too much, you do too much. But that's coming from people who are doing nothing. And I say that, and I don't mean that in a harmful way, but if you're used to doing the status quo, anybody who does two things above the status quo is going to seem like a lot to you. But when you're around people and you are spending time and you're influenced by people who are doing great things, greatness becomes the level of achievement by which everything that you do, everything that you're a part of, everything that you desire to formulate becomes a standard. It becomes the standard by which you govern your life. I guarantee you. Examine your surroundings. Look at who you're around. If you're looking at people, if you're with people who are continually in the Word, you're continually looking at individuals and spending time with people who talk about the Word and always talking about God, guess what? Your conversation is going to be about God. Now, the first thing that changes is your conversation, what you speak, what comes out your mouth. The second thing that changes is how you think. So the first thing, checking your surroundings, the first thing that changes is how you speak, what comes out of your mind. The second thing that changes is how you think, because your words begin to establish a thought pattern. And then you begin to act like the people that you surround yourself with. They so ghetto, they so bougie. I love them, they so sweet, but they ghetto and bougie. And that's, guess what? You gonna be ghetto bougie. You become what you surround yourself with. You surround yourself with people who have a life of discipline, who understand the importance of hard work and dedication. You begin to become an individual who values hard work and dedication, and you will spend your time and your life in those types of qualities. Now, I'm trying to find out so I don't lose. I'm here at our co-working space here at KBS. But I want you to begin to challenge yourself. The first thing that changes is what comes out of your mouth. The second thing that changes is what comes out of your head, what you begin to think. And this is dangerous. Great morning to you, Tara Ferguson. I need you to understand that, because once they begin to influence your thoughts, they begin to change the course of your direction. That's why bad company corrupts good character, because it changes how you speak, then it changes how you think, and then guess what changes next? What you produce and how you act. It seems so simple, such a simple thing, that if you allow yourself to be surrounded by beautiful things, the only thing that you will ever shop for at the store, are beautiful things. If you grew up in a family and everything that you had was a designer label, guess what you value as an individual as you grow up? Designer labels. If you grew up in a family and everything that you've ever heard in your family was what you couldn't do, you never heard anybody inspire you or push you to the next level, then you'll grow up in a life living and thinking that your life is defeated, and then what the cards that you have are the cards that you've been dealt. But when you find yourself, excuse me, when you find yourself surrounded by individuals that are always talking about how to maximize their potential, how to make great things happen, how to produce something out of a nothing, how that there is no limitation on what we're able to do, people who are going to push you, a good friend will push you to be the greatest that you possibly can be. Proverbs 27:9 says, ointment and perfume rejoice the heart. So does the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty or good counsel. You need to realize that your friends determine who you are. Stay away from miserable people. Why? Because you begin to speak misery, you begin to think misery, and before you know it, you'll become miserable. But so you've got to begin to understand that there is greatness in you. The only thing is, what's in your surroundings? Check your surroundings. And when you change your surroundings, you'll change your mind. When you change your mind, you will change your life. This is Pastor K signing off. Be encouraged. Take a look around. Somebody needs to leave your circle of surroundings, because they're bringing in the thing that is anchoring you down from rocketing to your success. Be gracious, be blessed, take care of yourselves and each other. Grace and peace.